Hello, welcome to Black Smoke. This your girl, New Queen. Make sure you like and subscribe if you need a friend, because I always need a good friend. That's why I present these videos. So if you need a friend, we could be friends together. We all need good people in our life. Blessings and love to you. Check me out on Chocolate Honey the podcast on Anchor and on Facebook and on Instagram. As soon as I get my Instagram back up, I don't know what's going on with that, but neither here nor there. Thanks for joining in. And um, for the most part, this is a part 2 of the video I previously posted about protection from my dad, a parent. If you watch that, then this is just a part 2. And this is just going into the deeper aspects of not having my dad in my life and what I had to reflect on as an adult at this time, being almost 40. So if you don't mind, please, again, like and subscribe and roll up with me while we talk. Okay, so in the previous video, I did mention that my dad did leave when I was about 4 or 5. And I did see him sporadically throughout my life. Make sure you catch that video. The link in the description is going to be in the links down below, or the link is going to be in the description down below. I just want to say this is going to be probably a reflection for a lot of people, a lot of women, probably men too. If you don't have a mother in your life. But preferably for the women that don't have men in their life that were supposed to be there, like our dads. I'm just going to tell you my experience from not having a father figure. I had my grandfather, I had my uncles, but I didn't have my dad. I will actually say that it was difficult for me. I didn't think it was until I got older. I was probably in my late 20s when I realized that not having my father around affected me. And then when I was in my 30s, it hit me even harder. I have had very toxic relationships. I have had very toxic lovers. And I've had numerous lovers. And I say that to say there's a difference when you have a balance in parenting. If my mom and my dad, even with them not being together, still communicated on a level to where it was about me and raising me, I feel like I would not probably even have my 2 kids. Only because I would have had stability and I would have had direction. My mom didn't talk to me about sex. I learned everything from school and other people. My dad wasn't around to talk to me about men and how they can use you and manipulate you. And that's what I ran into. I ran into no direction, knowing my right from wrongs, but still doing the opposite of what I'm supposed to have been doing, and taking what someone say to me as what it is, like, and that wasn't what it was. Like, I'll take a person's word and it would be solid to me. A lot of times the words and actions were not solid, and I suffer from that. I suffer from being with men who didn't care about me, men who only wanted to have sex with me. I actually had emotional breakdowns because of that, and just being in my own world. And at one point I felt like I was the shit. Like, I was everything a man wanted. And to this day I actually do, but it was a different premise. Back then, in my teenage years, because I lost my virginity when I was 15. I didn't have my first child until I was 19. And I had my second child when I was 26. 27. Because my kids are 8 years apart. And it was a gap in between there, because I had to deal with to deal with a lot of emotional shit. Like, I went through molar pregnancies with my daughter's father. I went through abortions with my daughter's father and my son's father. And I had situations where it wasn't comfortable for me. I put myself in uncompromising positions. And I say uncompromising positions because I was uncomfortable and I still made it comfortable for the other person, but I was in an uncompromising position because I wasn't comfortable and my feelings wasn't being compromised. At the end of the day, I had to realize that I was just being used for my body or my intelligence or both. And I had to equate that to me not having respect for myself because I didn't see a man having respect for me. By me not seeing a man have respect for me or another woman in my household besides my grandfather, and at the time I would see him and my grandmother argue. So it was like, what was respect? What is love? What is respect? You know, and that's what I was able to see as respect and love. You know, name calling, physical altercations, intimacy that wasn't really, you know, or sexual encounters that really wasn't as intimate as one would like, if you will. And so I went through that. I suffered through the trauma of not knowing at the time it was trauma, but now I'm like, okay, that was trauma. That was self-reflection for the most part for me, and I had to realize what it was. I didn't have a man in my life to be like, this is what it is, or like how to love me, or how to express love to the opposite sex. I didn't really see a lot of that. I just seen my grandfather work a lot. I seen my grandmother work a lot. I seen my mom work a lot. I knew my dad worked a lot because that's what I was told. However, in the household that I lived in, I lived with several other people, which was both of my grandparents. At one point I lived with, these are all the people I lived with at one point. Both of my grandparents, my mom, two aunties. One auntie had 3 kids. Other auntie had 2 kids. So this was a single family home or a duplex up and down. There was 10 of us. One family lived downstairs, the other family lived upstairs, but we all were family. And in the midst of that, even though we all were raised in the same house, we all were raised differently. So I had to deal with, and that's not only to mention, I was the firstborn. I'm the oldest of my other 2 sisters, so we have to add 2 more people, so 10, 11, 12 people living in this house at one point. It was a lot to deal with. I mean, jealousy, animosity, people stealing from you, people want to fight you, or people want to fight, period. You know, it didn't necessarily have to be with me, but it was a lot going on at the time. And not having my dad around, being able to basically act out, if you will, be rebellious. I started smoking weed young. I started having sex young. I started dating young. And that was only because I didn't know any better. If I would have known better, I'm pretty sure I would have done better. Especially with the way my mind is set up now. I wish I would have known. And I really feel like me not having my dad around allowed me to go through a lot of situations that I probably should not have to go through. However, all the blame is not on him, yet on me to realize what was right and what was wrong. So, as funny or as crazy as that may sound, we have to know what's going on. And if we know what's going on in the world, we have to better protect ourselves. Once our parents give us life, they have a choice.